So it's time to move, and you're asking yourself, should I sell my house or rent it out? It's a great question. Maybe you're relocating because of a new job. Maybe you need a bigger house for a growing family. Or maybe you just found your dream home. If you're wondering if you should sell your home or rent it out, well, it's not an easy decision, even for experts. But it seems from more and more homeowners, the answer may be to turn their home into a rental. If you decide to rent, you could have a new source of income. But selling allows you to use your equity to help buy your next home. I'm Ken Tyndall. I've been a licensed real estate agent for more than 20 years. I'm going to break things down for you. The switch from seller to landlord is allowing some homeowners to capitalize on a hot rental market. Whether you should sell your house or rent it out depends on your potential rental income versus expenses and your potential profit if you sell. Later in this video, I'll do some math to show you a real example of how the numbers might add up for you. If you've always wanted to own a rental property, it's time to consider renting out your home instead of selling it. This is one of the best ways to get started. But you need to analyze your potential cash flow, your return on equity, when you're deciding whether you're going to sell your property or keep it as a rental. How much equity do you have in your home? Over time, your property gains equity as you pay down the mortgage every month, and by living there as your home appreciates in value. So you could keep your property, rent it out even for a couple of years, and then sell it for a bigger profit than you would get now. Here are 4 quick things to consider as far as your return on investment. Ask yourself, would the rental income cover the mortgage payment and all other expenses like taxes and insurance? Would you make enough reserve to cover vacancies and repairs? Are you confident you can make a profit? Are you going to collect the rent and deal directly with tenants, or would you use a property manager? Keep in mind, property management fees can be up to 10% of the rent. When it comes to location, if your house is in a hot rental market and has the features that renters are looking for, this could be your time. If you think it's a good idea to sell your home instead of renting it out, here's something else to think about. The average monthly rent in the U.S. is now more than $2,000 a month, up more than 3% year over year. In some parts of the country like the Northeast, and especially here in Florida, with the ongoing population growth and limited inventory, people are still paying a lot in rent. So you see more people holding onto their properties and renting instead of selling. But in some other housing markets, rents are actually going down now. Another question, how far away are you moving? Do you want to hold on to a real estate asset in another state? I've owned rental properties in other states, and people I've advised have done the same, but it's not for everybody. Property management is more challenging. Out-of-state rentals are not ideal. It's not as easy to really inspect the property or drive by and see what's going on in the neighborhood. If you're moving to another state, you might rather just keep it simple. Maybe you don't want to be a landlord and possibly file tax returns in multiple states. That's something I've been doing for most of my life, and that's why I have a good accountant. Hey, if you're finding this video helpful, a subscribe would mean a lot to me. What that does for me, it gives me an indicator that I'm building an audience and that I'm creating helpful content for people, and it does help the channel. When you live in a home, chances are you develop some emotional attachment. If you can take that sentimentality out of the picture, maybe have a real estate or financial expert help evaluate your situation, you might get a better sense of whether it's a good idea from an investment standpoint to rent out your home instead of selling it. Whatever your decision, you need to look at how it affects your taxes. Consider these 5 quick things. If you sell your home for a profit, you might have to pay taxes on that income. If you rent your property, you'll have to pay taxes on rental income, but you can deduct expenses and appreciation. If you have a homestead exemption on your personal home like we do in Florida, keep in mind the property taxes would be higher if you rent it out because you'd lose that exemption. And when it comes to taxes, a huge consideration is capital gains. You can lose your capital gains exemption if you don't cash out the profits within a few years. Is it better to take that tax-free money and reinvest it in other properties? As far as mortgage rates, if you have one of those low-interest loans like around 3%, you can't get that kind of rate right now, even if you sell your home and use the profits to buy another investment property. So there are a lot of factors to consider. Okay, I promised I'd do some math and show you an example of how the numbers might add up for you, so stay with me here. Say you bought a $300,000 house 5 years ago and put 5% down. So along with that initial $15,000 in equity, You might have paid down the mortgage loan. You got a loan for $285,000 and say you have a 4% mortgage. After 5 years, you've paid down the loan and your payoff would be $257,775. Hopefully your house is also appreciated over those 5 years. The national average for appreciation is 3 to 5%, so let's go with 5%. So your house is now valued at $382,884 and you owe $257,775. But if you sell, you won't pocket that $125,109 difference to go toward your next home. Realtor fees of up to 6% and closing costs of about 2% reduce that balance to $94,478. You could be better off leaving that equity in your old home and letting it continue to appreciate every year and having tenants covering the cost of keeping it. If you do that and get another mortgage on your new home with 5% down, that could be a smart move. But every situation is different when it comes to your investments. Talk to an expert. Should you sell your home or rent it out? There's not a simple answer. Do the math and see if it makes more sense to keep the home long term. For more and more homeowners, it does make sense to rent instead of sell. If you'd like to learn more about real estate, buying, selling, and investing, be sure to subscribe, and you should watch this video next.